To become powerful, you must first become invisible. This goes against everything modern culture teaches. Be seen, be loud, be everywhere, post constantly, network aggressively, make noise. But real power doesn't work that way. Real power is built in obscurity. The world teaches you to be seen because visibility is profitable for them. Your attention is currency. Your engagement is revenue. Your constant presence feeds the machine. But power, true, unshakable, sovereign power, it comes from being unseen, from mastering the art of silence, from understanding solitude, from strategic disappearance. This is the art of becoming a ghost. Not a ghost because you're dead, weak, or hiding in fear, but a ghost because you're operating on a different frequency. You're building while others are performing. You're creating while others are consuming. You're transforming while others are spectating. Ghosts don't seek attention. They don't need validation. They don't require an audience. Ghosts build empires unseen, and when they finally reveal themselves, the world doesn't recognize them because they've become something new. This is the most misunderstood path to power, and today, I'm going to show you why isolation isn't weakness. It's the forge where strength is actually made. When you step back from the crowd, something profound happens. You reclaim your energy. Think about how much energy you're leaking right now. Every scroll through social media, you're absorbing someone else's energy. Their problems, their opinions, their anxiety, their performance. Every conversation that goes nowhere, every social obligation that drains you, every interaction that feels transactional, all of that is energy leaving your system. You're like a battery being drained by 1,000 different devices, all pulling power simultaneously. No wonder you're exhausted. No wonder you can't focus. No wonder you feel scattered. But when you become a ghost, when you strategically withdraw, you disconnect those drains. You stop absorbing everyone's noise, their fear, their confusion. And something magical happens. You start hearing your own rhythm again. Not the rhythm the algorithm wants from you. Not the pace your employer demands. Not the frequency your social circle expects. But your actual rhythm. Your natural pace. Your authentic frequency. The Stoics practiced this deliberately. Marcus Aurelius would retreat into himself daily, even while running an empire. He wrote, "People seek retreats for themselves in the country, by the sea, or in the mountains. But this is entirely the trait of a base person. When you can, at any moment, find such a retreat within yourself." He understood that withdrawal isn't about physical location. It's about psychological separation. It's about creating internal space even when you're surrounded by external chaos. Epictetus taught his students to practice strategic isolation, not permanent hermitage, but temporary withdrawal to study, reflect, and rebuild. Seneca would leave Rome regularly, disappearing into quiet contemplation, then returning with sharper wisdom, clearer purpose, stronger philosophy. This wasn't escape. This was elevation. Isolation wasn't loneliness. It was refinement. The ghost phase is where transformation brews, because ghosts don't have to perform. They don't have to maintain an image. They don't have to be consistent with who everyone thinks they are. They can shed that old skin, try on new identities, experiment with different versions of themselves, all without judgment, without audience, without pressure. This is freedom. This is where you discover who you actually are versus who you've been pretending to be. Isolation is painful at first, brutally painful. Because when you remove all the distractions, all the noise, all the external stimulation, you're left alone with yourself. And for most people, that's terrifying. You realize how much of your identity was borrowed, how many of your opinions weren't actually yours, how much of your personality was just a performance for others. You face the parts of yourself you've been avoiding, the wounds, the insecurities, the fears, the shame. All of it rises to the surface when there's nothing left to distract you from it. This is why most people can't become ghosts. They're too afraid to be alone with themselves. They need constant distraction to avoid the internal confrontation. But if you can push through this discomfort, if you can sit with yourself in the silence, something incredible happens. Isolation purifies. It strips away fake identities. You can't maintain personas when there's no audience. You can't perform when there's nobody watching. It strips away shallow ambitions, the goals you adopted because they sounded impressive, the dreams that were never really yours, the pursuits you chased for approval rather than fulfillment. All of it burns away in the fire of solitude, and what's left is the real you. The warrior hidden beneath your habits, the philosopher buried under your conditioning, the authentic self waiting to emerge. Imagine disappearing into the depths of your purpose. Every morning, the world still spins, chaos still unfolds, drama still erupts. But you're somewhere else entirely. You're reconstructing quietly. No validation, no comparison, just clarity. You're not checking if you're doing better than others because there are no others in your awareness. You're not measuring your progress against someone else's highlight reel because you've deleted the platform. You're building something real, something solid, something that doesn't need external validation to exist. This is the ghost phase. This is where the magic happens. Month 1, you feel disconnected, anxious, questioning everything. Month 2, you start to settle. The anxiety decreases. The silence becomes comfortable. Month 3, you meet yourself for the first time. Not the version of you that exists for others, but the actual you, the core, the essence. Month 4 through 6, you rebuild from that foundation. Every choice is intentional. Every action is aligned. Every day compounds into someone unrecognizable. And when you resurface, when you step back into the world, you're not the same person who left. You're quieter, but more powerful. You've learned that you don't need to announce your presence to have impact. You're humbler, but unshakable. You've been tested in solitude and proven to yourself that you can stand alone. You're invisible when you want to be, but unforgettable when you choose to be seen.
Let me explain why invisibility creates power, because this is counterintuitive. Power Principle 1, unpredictability. When you're always visible, always posting, always available, you become predictable. People know what you're doing. They can track your patterns. They can anticipate your moves. But when you're a ghost, you become unpredictable. Nobody knows what you're working on. Nobody knows what you're planning. Nobody can see you coming. And unpredictability is power. In business, in relationships, in life. The person who can't be read, can't be tracked, can't be predicted holds a strategic advantage. Power Principle 2, energy conservation. Visibility is exhausting. Every interaction drains energy. Every post requires mental bandwidth. Every social obligation takes time and attention. But invisibility is energy conservation. You're not performing. You're not explaining. You're not maintaining relationships with people who don't actually matter. You're channeling all that saved energy into your actual work, into your transformation, into building something meaningful. Think about it. How much time do you spend each day on social media? 2 hours? 3? More? Now multiply that by 30 days. That's 60 to 90 hours a month, 700 to 1,000 hours a year. That's enough time to write 3 books, to build a business, to master a skill, to completely transform your body, to learn a new language. But most people give that time away, freely, for nothing in return, except the illusion of connection and the dopamine hit of validation. Ghosts understand that visibility is expensive. Invisibility is investment. Power Principle 3. Authentic development. When you're visible, you develop performatively. You do things that look good, that photograph well, that impress others. But when you're invisible, you develop authentically. You do things because they actually matter to you, because they move you towards your real goals, because they align with your actual values. You're not choosing the gym that has the best Instagram backdrop. You're choosing the discipline that actually transforms your body. You're not reading books to post quotes and look smart. You're reading books to actually learn, to actually change, to actually grow. You're not meditating for the aesthetic. You're meditating for the actual peace, the actual clarity, the actual transformation. This authenticity builds real power, not perceived power, not performative power, but actual, tangible, unshakable power. Power Principle 4. Immunity to opinion. When you're visible, you're vulnerable to opinion. Every post invites judgment. Every appearance invites criticism. Every move is watched, analyzed, commented on. This creates a constant feedback loop of external validation and criticism that shapes your behavior, often unconsciously. But when you're invisible, you become immune. Nobody's watching, so nobody's judging. You're free to try, to fail, to experiment, to change, without the weight of others' opinions. This immunity allows you to take risks visible people can't take, to pivot when needed, to abandon what isn't working, to pursue what matters without defending it to an audience. Power Principle 5. Compound secrecy. There's a psychological advantage to working in secret. When nobody knows what you're building, there's no pressure to perform, no obligation to share progress, no need to explain when things aren't working yet. This removes performance anxiety. You can focus purely on the work, not on documenting the work or justifying the work or proving the work is worthwhile. And when you finally reveal what you've built, when the ghost becomes visible, the impact is massive because nobody saw it coming, nobody expected it. You've built something substantial in silence, and the reveal is shocking. This is how the most powerful people operate, quietly building, silently preparing, invisibly growing, until the moment of reveal creates maximum impact. So, how do you actually become a ghost? Let me give you the protocol. Phase 1. Strategic withdrawal. Reduce your digital footprint dramatically. Not eliminate unless that serves you, but reduce. Stop posting your life. Stop sharing your plans. Stop broadcasting your daily activities. Become boring online. Post rarely, and when you do, post intentionally. No stories, no live updates, no constant presence. In person, reduce social obligations. Say no to events that don't serve your mission. Decline invitations that drain rather than energize you. Be selectively social. Keep the relationships that matter. Release the ones that don't. Phase 2. Deep work. With your newfound invisibility, go deep into your craft. 4 to 6 hours daily of focused, undistracted work on whatever you're building. No checking metrics, no seeking feedback, no showing works in progress. Just you and your craft, in silence, in flow, in complete immersion. This is where mastery is built, not in public view, not with an audience, but in private dedication. Phase 3. internal reconstruction. Use the solitude to rebuild your inner world. Daily meditation or contemplation, daily journaling, daily reading of philosophy. Process your past, heal your wounds, face your shadow. Do the internal work that nobody sees but that changes everything. This is soul-level transformation. This is where you become someone new from the inside out. Phase 4. Physical transformation. Use the time and energy you've reclaimed to transform your physical form. Train daily. Eat with discipline, sleep with intention, build a body that matches the power you're cultivating internally. This isn't about aesthetics, though that will come. This is about embodying the discipline you're practicing mentally. Phase 5. Strategic reemergence. After 6 months, or however long your ghost phase lasts, you don't explode back into visibility. You emerge strategically. You show up different, you speak differently, you carry yourself differently, but you don't explain the gap. You don't narrate the journey, you simply exist in your new form. And that existence is its own announcement. Power isn't built in public, it's forged in private. In the hours no one sees, in the battles no one applauds, in the silence no one witnesses. The world will tell you to be visible, to share everything, to document your journey, to build in public. But ghosts know different. Ghosts know that the real work happens when nobody's watching. The real transformation occurs when nobody's judging. The real power is built when nobody's opinion can influence the process. So, become a ghost. Not to run, not to hide, not to escape, but to rise, to heal, to build. Disappear into your purpose. Vanish into your discipline. Become invisible while you reconstruct everything. And when you return, when you reappear, the world won't recognize you because you've done something most people are too afraid to do. You've actually changed. If you're walking your ghost phase right now, if you're building in silence, if you understand that power grows best in the dark, comment below, "I'm building in silence," and subscribe to Mind Armor, because this is where ghosts become legends. This is where invisible warriors forge unshakable power. The art of becoming a ghost. Master it, live it, become it.